August 8th, 2014. That is the day that Peak was bestowed upon the entire universe. That's the release date of Five Nights at Freddy's 1. And I've been playing Five Nights at Freddy's since then. You clicked on the video for a certain reason. It's because you love FNAF, and I like FNAF too. My name's Khalees. I make a lot of FNAF videos, horror videos, a bunch of stuff. Thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. Yippee! And today we are ranking Five Nights at Freddy's games 1 to 6 based off of how fun they are. Now, I'll tell you one thing. In my past few videos, I've been getting cooked about some opinions I've had and about not me getting all the facts straight. But this right here today with these games, this is all what I think. Now, who's gonna disagree with me? 99% of y'all. So this is great. So if you guys want to yell at me in the comments, feel free. So if you guys want to yell at me in the comments, feel free to do so. But I think we're gonna start off. I have a few tiers here. I have goated, good game, mid, and terrible. I'm gonna rate the games from least to best. What do you guys think number 1 is gonna be? Because I already know what it is. If you've been here on the channel, you know what my number 1 is. But we're gonna start off with the least fun game. And what is that? You know what? I'm gonna say this a lot. I'm gonna get some hate for this. But in my opinion, the least fun game in the first 6 games, Five Nights at Freddy's 3. I'm not gonna play any of the games in terrible. Honestly, every Five Nights at Freddy's game, all by zcomputedz, I think I've had so much fun playing it. But Five Nights at Freddy's 3, I think that's gonna take the cake for the least fun game. Why? Well, before I even explain why, I just want to say one thing. The ambiance and the environment of the entire game, I think, is probably the best in the entire series. I mean, this is after Five Nights at Freddy's 1, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, these kind of like semi-vibrant environments. You know, we have animatronics who bring life, and Five Nights at Freddy's 2, you have the toys, which they're very like, you know, joyous and like fleshed out. But then you go over to Five Nights at Freddy's 3, and then you're just in this horror attraction, and it's like, oh my god, there's like mold growing on the walls, it's all green. It's just an ugly color. I mean, green, if you like the color green, you're probably ugly. I'm sorry, I have to say it, but like, everything's so green and everything's just, it's all like ugly, you feel me? Also, just the gameplay loop, it's just not something I'm a big fan of. I mean, you're kind of just worried about one animatronic at the end of the day. I feel like in any of the other games, you're dealing with like 4 to like even 10 animatronics at a time, but in this game, you're essentially just worried about Springtrap and then some of the phantoms. I don't know, I'm just not a big fan of, you know, having to chase him and like lure him to different areas. It's honestly just very tedious, and I am glad that zcomputedz decided not to make third game his last game, because if that was the case, I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's would most definitely not be at where it is today. It's a good game. I'm not gonna say it's a bad game. I have to replay all the games, by the way. If you guys would be interested in me playing all the games again, leave it in the comments. But I will say one thing that this game does very well. The mini games and the good ending with all the Easter eggs. Like, this is like the first game where there's like 2 alternate endings, I believe so. I mean, I know there's mini games in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, but this is the actual first game where there's a bad ending and like a good ending. So Five Nights at Freddy's 3, it's gonna go at the bottom of my list. It's a good game though. I'm just gonna say that. All right, now going into number 5 is gonna be another controversial take. I feel like a lot of us saw it coming. We have some hard hitters here, obviously, but this one is going to have to be Pizzeria Simulator. Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, you know, this is kind of bad because I technically never even finished Pizzeria Simulator. I did like 2 nights, but
is this nigga serious?
I like the whole idea of like building your whole pizzeria and like the salvages with Scrap Baby, you know, Mole and Freddy, Afton, like all of it's really cool. It's a great environment. And this game does have my favorite animatronic of all time, Lefty. This is the only game within the 6 that doesn't have a set time except Sister Location. But the whole gameplay loop again, I mean, this one is entirely task based. Once you finish all your tasks, you do leave for the night. But you know, in the other games, you have to last until a certain time, like 6 a.m. Sister Location is a little bit different with a custom night, and then every night's different, but you know, that's besides the point. You're pretty much doing the same thing every night in Pizzeria Simulator, but there are a bunch of endings. There's like 6 different endings. The ending in Pizzeria Simulator is probably the most badass ending in all Five Nights at Freddy's, where, you know, Henry traps all the animatronics and Afton into the pizzeria and burns it down. That whole monologue that he goes on is insane.
Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend.
Like, lore-wise, Pizzeria Simulator is probably the greatest, but in practice, where you're, you know, looking at the vents with the flashlights and then monitoring your temperature, it's kind of just boring. Each night could take from like 5 minutes to 20 minutes based on how you play. So, I mean, I had to put it there, honestly. I just don't find it as fun as the next 4. Speaking of 4, going into 4, we have Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Yeah, you know. Oh, I'm gonna get some hate. Oh, I'm gonna get a lot of hate. Here, I'll say this. The whole hype between the first 4 games, I think they were all released within like 1.5 years. I could be wrong. Fact check that, Khalees. Yeah, okay, that seems about right. The teasers, with Foxy with the tongue, which never made it through, which is crazy. Like, why did Scott Cawthon give him a tongue and just take it out? All the animatronics, like, look, Five Nights at Freddy's 1 animatronics, Five Nights at Freddy's 4 animatronics. The contrast is insane. Every night you got the little mini game. You have where you're walking around as a crying child, and like this game was extremely lore heavy, if not even more lore heavy than Sister Location and Pizzeria Simulator. I mean, we learned so much. We learned about dream theory. We learned about the entire box and what could possibly be inside of it. This game sparked so much debate in the Fnaf community, and I love it for that. It is a great game as well. This one is heavily reliant on audio, walking up to the doors and trying to listen to see who's at the door, if they're breathing or not. I like that concept. And then you also have the challenge nights where you have to do it blind, and then there's also like Insta Foxy. I mean, everything in this game is amazing. Once again, it's not a bad game. Personally, I don't find it as enjoyable as most of the other games. But once you're listening up to who's at the door and you get jump scared. But yeah, I mean, that's Five Nights at Freddy's 4. And this is pretty much halfway through the list. Now we have the final 3. We have Five Nights at Freddy's 1, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and Sister Location. Oh, also, by the way, could we hit 25 likes on this video? That'd be cool. I gotta start bringing up like goals because we've been smashing them. Thank you for going crazy on the like goals in the past videos. But yeah, all right. Now, for our number 3 spot, what do I find as the most enjoyable Five Nights at Freddy's game? I'm going to put Five Nights at Freddy's 1. I'm gonna put Five Nights at Freddy's 1 at my number 3 spot. It's a great game. I don't think that Five Nights at Freddy's 1 is as replayable as any of the other Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, once you kind of do, you know, your whole run through, you go through like a 420 mode, you do all that, you know, there's nothing really even to go back for. There's no mini games, there's no anything. But I think that initial office design with the 2 doors, cameras, lights, I mean, that entire Five Nights at Freddy's first game has been a pilot for so many different horror games in the entire horror genre. I mean, we have like One Night at Flumpty's, Five Nights at Candy's. We have all these different horror games that just branched off solely because of Five Nights at Freddy's 1. I mean, I love the mechanics with Foxy having to check the cameras. I think one criticism I do have for the entire game is stalling Freddy. I feel like it's never thoroughly explained inside of the game how to stall Freddy, and you know that's what made like 420 so hard. But I mean, the whole game's atmosphere is insane. It's so simplistic, and then it introduced us to the whole MCI, you know, the missing child. This game started so much, and it's an amazing game. Five Nights at Freddy's 1, I'm gonna have to put that on my 3 spot. Moving on to our number 2 spot. These two are going to be battling for who's going to be number 1. I'm going to put Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location. Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location, I would say, was the biggest change we had in all of Five Nights at Freddy's. Prior to Sister Location, we had the simple 5 nights design and then maybe 1 or 2 extra nights, right? Sister Location is entirely different. Every night is different. We get to meet Baby, and then we get to meet Ballora, Funtime Foxy. Everything in this game was insane. I remember when this game first came out, I know Matt Pat was going stupid, Dako was going stupid, Corey Kenshin was going stupid. The entire Five Nights at Freddy's community was going insane when this game dropped. We all thought that Five Nights at Freddy's 4 was going to be the final game in the entire series, but then Scott Cawthon just like drops this out of the blue with the Mangle teaser, and I believe this is after FNAF World. I don't know, I'm not gonna lie, I never played FNAF World. Sister Location in general was a very good game. Also the scooper room, bro. Oh my god, I remember the first time I got into that scooper room, my heart dropped. And then that cutscene where he's like slowly walking down the street and, and then he starts slowly turning blue, and then you see that the niggas in the back, they're like all fucking confused. Like, bro, that's like actually comedy gold. So I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location has to go at the 2. And moving on to the number 1 spot, you know, oh, calm down guys, calm down. I know it's a good game. Hey, This is my game right here. This is my game. I don't give a fuck at this point, bro. Everybody in the community fucking slanders this game so much harder than it has to be. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie was great. Every animatronic here was great. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is going in my #1 spot, and I don't care what anybody says. Seriously, I get real passionate about this because honestly, I don't think you realize you had to be there. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 dropped, and we saw that entire roster. Oh, don't even do that. Five Nights at Freddy's 1 had 5 animatronics: Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy. Okay, not only do you have those 5 people in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, you have Toy Chica, Toy Bonnie, Mangle, Balloon Boy, and Marionette. You got double the roster from one game to another. And not only that, we thought it was in the future. The entire time, this game is a prequel. I'm talking about the fun of it. That was just the initial, like, what we see at the beginning of the game. No. It gets even better than that. Not only are we in a fucking... Oh my God. Put the desk there. Put the desk there. Look at that fan. We get 2 vents to the left and right of us, 1 big ass hallway in front of us, a flashlight, and this thing. You see that? It's a damn Freddy mask. You can't tell me that's not peak. One caveat that I do have with Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and I hate to say it because it is my favorite game, I'm gonna say it is the music box. I mean, there are so many cameras, you know, so many rooms. You have all the different party rooms, and my personal favorite is the parts and service camera that don't really get utilized because you have the music box and you need to constantly be going to that camera to check out and wind the music box. But there's just so much underutilized camera work that you could be using in the game. I mean, I don't know what it would be. It could be like flashing an animatronic through the cameras to stun them or something, but the whole like puppet music box kind of does kill it for some people. Honestly, just the entire environment. I like the whole office design. You know, you have this big hallway in front of you. That's where Foxy is, and you see all the animatronics going to the party rooms, and then from the party rooms they can go into the vents. I mean, the whole gameplay loop of, you know, like checking the vents, checking the hallway, putting the mask on. I mean, it's all, once you perfect that whole gameplay loop, you can't tell me that is not like the most enjoyable game in the entire franchise. I mean, look, this is just my opinion at the end of the day. Right on my head. You see it. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 Glazer. I mean, that's going to conclude the list. At the top of our list, we have Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Down here, we have beautiful Five Nights at Freddy's 3. I'm so thankful for Stakot Cawthon for even, you know, making these games. And I'm thankful for y'all for watching these videos. My last ranking videos, they outperformed every video I have on my channel combined. So I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for the support. Let me know what you guys want me to do. I don't know what to do. I mean, I talk a lot. I mainly play a lot of games, but y'all love me talking. So if you want me to talk about anything, I'll talk about it. You know, next video I'm doing, I'm cracking the animatronics and I'm ranking. No, I ain't doing that. I can't do that. But yeah, leave some comments. Let me know what y'all want me to do in the future, and let me know what you think about the list. What your #1 spot is, 'cause I'm honestly interested. That'll be all, guys. My name's Khalees. Don't forget it. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.